Hello and good evening and welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation with me, your host Owen James, the channel that brings you all your latest Rangers news. It is a Tuesday night, I believe. I believe it's Tuesday. You know what, I've absolutely lost track of what day it is. I think it's Tuesday. There we go. You know what's really it's just the football. It's everywhere at the moment, and I've lost it. Right, look, let's obviously we're going to talk about January transfer window. It's the big thing at the moment, isn't it? You know, we're going to talk about links. We're going to talk about what Rangers need. We're going to talk about who Rangers need to get shot of. We're going to talk about, obviously, as well, the fact that there was another victory for Rangers tonight. Yes, another victory for Rangers and another Old Firm victory for Rangers this evening. Yes, Rangers beating Celtic 3-1. Seems scoring 3 against Celtic is the done thing these days. Rangers obviously coming out 3-1 winners. Goals. Who did the goals come from, I hear you ask? Well, Finlay Curtis got one of the goals. Yes, the very same Finlay Curtis that can't get even for the first team, yet literally scores for fun for the B team. Also on the score sheet tonight was Zach Lovelace. Yes, another player who seemingly cannot get a game for the first team and is behind a player of all players, Cyril the Donkey Dessers, in the pecking order. Totally wrong in my opinion. And McClaw got the third goal. So 3-1 victory for Rangers tonight in the Old Firm in the stages of the Glasgow Cup. Fantastic result. And it seems that beating Celtic by 3 goals is a very common occurrence these days, isn't it? I'm sure it was a result that was enjoyed on the other side of the city to add to the 3-0, obviously. Okay, so we've got some comments here. Can't see Clement leaving until the summer, to be honest. The less for the board to pay him would suit these greedy fuckers down to the ground. I've got to say, Janet, I wholeheartedly agree with you. I mean, look, I've said, and if you go back across recent videos, you know, I've talked about this ad infinitum, you know, the fact that, I'll be honest, Clement is going nowhere. Clement is absolutely going nowhere. He will still be the manager until the summer. And trust me, it can get a lot worse than it is at the moment in time, and he will still keep his job. Because I think the board have made it clear they're going to give him till at least the end of the season. You know, I think they'll give him this January transfer window. We're going to talk a bit about that and you know what January may and may not show. But I honestly agree with you on that one. He needs to stop making subs, running them into the ground. Cherny, Hadji, Igaman. We need 2 good players for each position, like Gerard did. So why are we in this mess? I mean, Bobby, that's a lot of comments and a lot of questions, and it's fantastic. Yeah, I agree. We do need to strengthen the squad. We do need 2 players for every single position. I agree with you. 100% agree with you on that one. You know, we do need a deeper squad, 100%. We do need 2 good players for every position. But that's obviously hard to do because you're talking money, you're talking cost, you're talking outlay, something that I don't think we've got at this moment in time. As for why we are in this mess, that's actually quite an easy answer. Transfer windows and contract problems. So allowing players to leave for nothing and signing absolute rubbish in their place. So, you know, going and signing the likes of Sam Lammers, the likes of Robin Proper, the likes of Cyril Dessers, and wasting a lot of money and bringing in completely the wrong type of player for the Scottish game. So I think, you know, partly why we are in this mess is our recruitment has been absolutely dreadful over the last 3 to 5 years. Dado says Popov, Ukraine central defender. He's a beast. Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about him. I'll look into him, but yeah, big lad. Ref Watch said that his penalty wasn't a penalty. Fair enough. I must say, I've heard so much different argument on it. I've heard some ex-refs say it was, some ex-refs say it wasn't. It's definitely one that seems to kind of, you know, split opinion. If the money's not there, it's not there. Know what happened last time we spent above our means? Very true. 8 million to help prop us up. Very worrying. Picard needs to be brutally honest. He does. You know, that is a true statement there. You know, that the Airwolf makes, you know, it is a case that we were propped up by the board and propped up to some extent by the investors to £8 million, the tune of, to keep the club going. You know, Johnny Evans, no thank you. Just no thank you. Johnny, I don't want Johnny Evans anywhere near my football club. Evening, boy, evening. Good evening, folks. Evening, Caleb. Evening, Janet. Evening, the D1EMO. Tuesday all day. There we go. Confirmed. The B team smashed it. boys doing well. Grant, how you doing? Alex, how are you? How you feeling, buddy? How is everything with you? If the money isn't there, we'd be foolish to spend money we clearly don't have. Good point. Never a penalty, just saying. Should be giving Lovelace a run out in the first team. I agree with that. Alex, there's a question that needs answering: is how do we get rid of Deadwood that nobody will pay money for? Because until we get that issue sorted, we are stuck on this roundabout of going nowhere. I mean, look, I'll be honest. There's always buyers for players. You very rarely get a player who is unsellable. You know, you very rarely get a situation where you cannot get rid of a player. It's just you've got to accept what you would term as under the market value for them. You know, you've got to accept a minimum amount for them. You know, if you're talking about the likes of Kieran Dowell or Cyril Dessers or Robin Proper or Tom Lawrence, then you're talking about just accepting the minimum possible to get them out of the club. I think that's what we're kind of talking here with those. Yeah, I mean, you can wait until their contracts run down, but it's fine, mate. No worries. But look, you can wait till their contracts run down, but you know, you can also cancel contracts, pay the contracts up. You know, I can't hire up, unfortunately. I am at work tomorrow. It's I thought it was Thursday night. It's Thursday night, isn't it? If it's Thursday night, I'm at work. If it's Wednesday night, I'm not at work. Rangers, I think it's Thursday night, mate. So I don't think I can do because I think I'm at work until late. Yes, it's Thursday, mate, so I can't. But I am Sunday for the St Johnstone game, mate. I am Sunday for the St Johnstone game. Lack of activity for defenders in this window shows our club's ambition. Right, I mean, look, let's get to January, shall we? Look, we are, 7 days in now. Still no movement on the transfer front. Still no movement in terms of signings. You know, loads of names being linked. I think, you know, a lot of it is media, you know, kind of putting 2 and 2 together, getting 5, you know, trying to create clickbait, trying to create stories, trying to create something from nothing. I mean, the latest stories that I've read today, just whilst I was walking the dog after work, literally just walked. I mean, literally, I've actually still got my uniform underneath this. I've still got my work clothes underneath this zip up. Yeah, I mean, look, you've got. I mean, Johnny Evans is a name that's been linked. Johnny Evans is an interesting one. Now, according to a report I read today, it was the board that suggested, or somebody within the board that suggested Johnny Evans, probably been watching Chris Boyd, to Philippe Clement. And Philippe Clement said, no, thank you. He doesn't want him because of his age, thinks he's past it. You know, certainly talking to, I've got a couple of mates who are Man United fans. Yeah, I'm not proud. And they've said, you know, that Evans is done. He's finished. He, you know, his legs are gone. He's past it. You know, avoid him like the plague. So, you know, that's certainly something I would echo. I mean, like I've said, Evans is 37 years old. He is way past his best. Also, you know, the situation with Evans is an interesting one because I think a lot of us would be hypocrites if we said, yeah, let's bring in Johnny Evans, you know, especially as last summer we were all demanding that Connor Goldson get sold because he was past it, because his legs are gone, because he was too old. We're now demanding, obviously, that James Tavernier at 33 disappears. I also think, you know, as well, do you really want to be adding another 37-year-old defender to the club? We've already got 36-year-old Leon Balogun. You know, do we want to be adding even more age to the club? I genuinely don't think that that's right. I genuinely believe that, you know, that signing Evans would be a massive backward step for this club. And he's a player who, like I said, is long past his best. You know, do we need someone of Johnny Evans' ilk, you know, when Johnny Evans was actually a player, you know, who's aggressive, who's good in the air, who's, you know, good tackler? Do we need someone like that? Yes, we do. That's what we need. We need look, I read a good, I can't remember who wrote it today, but it was basically someone saying what we need is two big, horrible bastards that like to defend. And it's true, we do. We need two big, nasty who are not scared of getting stuck in and getting properly stuck in. So, look, yeah, we do need that. And I think, you know, a lot will we'll find out a lot over the next few days whether there's going to be money for that, what the situation is. A lot of you in the live chat are asking about Nikola Katic. Now, this is a a story. Let's have a poll. We've got to love a poll. Would you welcome Nikola Katic back to Rangers? So there's the poll. It's going up now. Please vote in the poll. Okay, so the poll is up. The poll is good. It's up. Right, so a lot of you are asking about Katic. There's a lot of people asking about Katic here. I mean, let's have a look at the comments on that one, what people are saying. Janet's, backwards bold. I mean, Chris says Evans is still better than any of our centre backs. He is a long-term option, but not every signing can be that. Chris, I would say that he's not better than John Souttar at the moment. At his age now, he is not better than John Souttar. At his age now, he is not better than Leon Balogun. So I would say that, if Balogun and Souttar are fit, Evans doesn't even get a look in to start. Now, is Johnny Evans going to come and play in Scotland when he's not going to even be guaranteed a first-team football? I'd say not. But like I said, I wouldn't put Evans in the same class as Souttar and Balogun. I'd say Souttar and Balogun better players at this stage of their careers. Papa G says Katic only 28 in his prime now and doing good. He's with Zurich. It's all down to the board because they sanction every penny spent Airwolf, giving that clown Beale millions. Yeah, I mean, look, we're going to get to that point, Maze. I do want to talk about that point, actually. Katic, left-sided centre-back, who knows how to head the ball and gets the Scottish game. Look, Nikola Katic, I mean, like I said, he's a player he's previously played for Rangers. He gets the Scottish game. He understands the Scottish game. He likes it. He's done well at Rangers in the past. So, Katic certainly is someone that I would consider as an option, certainly. 28 years old, he is a player who, is still, like was said in the live chat, in the prime of his career. He's still a player who I think can do a job. He's good in the air, scores from corners. Remember that goal he scored at Parkhead under Steven Gerrard? So he's a decent player. Certainly is a decent player. Is there a poll? Where's the poll gone? But yeah, Katic for me, I wouldn't rule Katic out. I think Katic could add to this squad. I really do. I think would be happy to be part of the rotation at centre back as well. Wouldn't want to start. Would want to start, but would understand obviously, about the fact that we have got Souttar, we have got Balogun. The latest poll is 70-30 in favour of Katic coming back. I think he's injured, Matt. I think he's injured. Mays says, we've had that point, sorry. Best of Scottish players to start with. I think we need some Scottish players. I think we do need some British players for definite. Katic left side centre back knows how to head. Yeah, we had that point. I'm losing it tonight, guys. Problem with Balogun is he breaks down every time he gets a run of games. I like him, but there's no point having him when he constantly gets injured. I think the issue with Balogun, Chris, is the fact that we've kind of overused him in recent weeks. The fact that when he was playing, he came on, didn't he, in one of the games where I think he was being rested. He has been overused, but he is 36, and Johnny Evans, I think at 37 would be the same. Can they play 3 games a week? No, they can't. At this point, loads of money misspent. Wilson and the board have a lot to answer for. I agree. There's been a lot of money misspent by this board. The recruitment policy over the last 3 to 5 years has been genuinely dreadful. Think about it. If Clermont gets no money, it is going to rinse and repeat until the end of the season. Matt says, how much would Katic cost? If more than we sold him, it's a no-go. Look, if you look at Nikola Katic, apparently he's apparently about it. He is currently with Zurich. Apparently he wants out. He wants to leave. He's apparently been in talks with one English club already. He's been in talks with some of the clubs on the continent as well. So, I don't see any reason why we couldn't have an ask. If that's something that we are genuinely interested in, if there is actually money there to spend and actually to bring players in. But Katic for me is someone that I would certainly take back. Certainly I think could add to this squad. Certainly someone again who could come and do a job at centre back. And after all, that's what we've got. That's what we've got. Scott says €1.5 million Katic on transfer market. So you're probably looking at about 1.1 to 1.25 million for him, which a player like him is genuinely nothing. Genuinely nothing. I don't see what's wrong with King filling in. D1. I like King. I do, but I just genuinely believe that, you know, he's not big enough. He's not physical enough to play centre half. He's probably a better right back, to be honest with you, which I think Clement himself said. You know, Clement did say that, didn't he? So, I mean, look, I just think King worries me in Scotland because he's not big and physical, you know. And to me, a centre half in Scotland, you've got to be big and physical. You've got to be tough in your face. How bad do you think the financial picture really is? I mean, that's look. I don't, Airwolf. I don't honestly know. I mean, I'm not privy to Rangers accounts. You know, I haven't got inside information like some, but I don't think it's great. I don't think the financial situation is great. I don't think we've got much money to spend, if any. I wouldn't be surprised if Patrick Stewart comes out and says there isn't any money. There isn't any players. I would be genuinely surprised. You know, happy birthday, Stuart. Happy birthday, buddy. Happy birthday to Stuart Henderson, one of my mods. Top man. Happy birthday. Yeah, that's a good point, Airwolf. Brilliant. Airwolf, you make some brilliant points, mate. You do. So, you know, I think you're right. We do need to give youth more of a chance. I agree. Parsons going nowhere. Yeah, look, I do believe that Katic would be certainly someone who could add to the squad. I don't think he makes the squad any worse. I do think he comes in and he plays his part. So yeah, look, I'd be happy with Katic coming back. I really would. Even just on a short-term contract. But whether we can get that one across the line, whether there's any money to sign players, that's the big question, isn't it? Because that's the question that everybody wants the answer to. It is, where's the money? Or is there any money? Or what is the situation with the money? That's what everyone wants to know. And I'll be honest, I think, I mean, look, I may be here sitting and I may be putting 2 and 2 together and getting 25. But just reading again what Philippe Clement said, in his quotes yesterday, reading that quote again, the full quote. I mean, this was the full quote, just to remind you. It was on the video this morning, but that's something that Patrick would address towards you guys when asked about new additions in January. He wants to give the explanation. What is the plan for January? I think every manager feels that they could use more players, and for sure in this situation we are in, e.g. all the injuries. For the moment, with injuries and everything, but there is also the situation of the club. You need to pay it. Also, I'm not the one who can pay that. I don't have the money. So it's that end bit that is kind of slightly concerning as regards Rangers being able to in a position to invest in players. You know, when he's saying that you've got to be able to pay for the club. And then this comes not long after that comment about the fact that, the investors paid up 8 million to balance the club off. So I've got a genuine concern that there is no money in January. There will be no money to spend in January. Now, I hear those people out there saying, well, is it worth spending money in January, on a dead season? The fact the season is, kind of over. So I'd say, yes, it is. If you are backing Clement, if you are saying, yes, he's our man, yes, he's our manager, he's here for the long run, we're going to give him every chance to turn this around and get this club moving forward again, then, yes, you back him in January. You give him some money to spend to bring in players to continue the redevelopment of the squad. That is for me what you need to do. Now, I get the whole argument the season's over, etc., but if the board are going to send a serious message that they are actually backing Philippe Clement, then this is what they need to do. I'll be honest with you. I would say that that if they're not going to back him, if they don't see him as the long-term option, then I don't think they spend in January. I think they withhold money or they only bring in loans because they don't want to sanction any more players from this manager. They don't want to, cost themselves any more money. I think there is a real kind of, concern, shall we say. Evening, Owen. I can see Devine going on loan to Birmingham and he and Davis being signed permanently in the summer by then. Would welcome Katic back with open arms. I must say, I do see Davis leaving. Yes, absolutely. Why why left Picard seems Phil doesn't want to be the bearer of the bad news. I think because then if he gets the bullet at the end of the day and he departs the club, he can say, well, I wasn't backed. When is the CEO making? I don't know. That's the thing. Layson loves you. I don't know, mate. I was listening. Rangers. I heard Chris Jack say that there was nothing in the pipeline. Despite what Clement said. So I'll be honest with you. There's nothing in the pipeline at the moment. There's nothing coming from the club about a possible interview with Patrick Stewart. So I don't know, mate. I genuinely don't know. Bring him home. Talking about Katic. If we're that screwed financially, then this board are worse than bad. If there's no money, put the club up for sale if you don't want to dig deep into your own pockets. I mean, look, Grant, we've all been calling, haven't we, for the board to go. I mean, especially the Parks. Absolutely, 100%. They do need to go. As a club, that we need to move on. We need new investors. We do need, some extra help. Are they waiting to sell the likes of Dessers and Dowell? Anyone can see our weaknesses. As soon as it hit, the first signing could be confirmed. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that I kind of surmised a little bit, YouTube user, was that maybe we're kind of persevering and preserving, we're kind of trying to persevere and preserve and then sell to actually bring in players. That we're trying to kind of look at this in the situation that, look, at the moment there's no money, at the moment there's no scope of bringing in players. If we can generate money by allowing players to be sold, like Dowell, like Dessers, players who aren't good enough for the club, then yeah, I could see that happening. That is the case. That it is a case of buy to sell. Sorry, sell to buy. Sell to buy. Sell to buy. What else have we got? We need to rebuild. Yeah, we do need a new defensive foundation because the defensive foundation away from home looks absolutely shocking. Absolutely shocking. Clement doesn't decide on players. Coppin has the final say on everything. Transfers. So whether we sign players this month that end up with a new manager come next season. Look, I'll be honest with you. I'll be honest with you. I think if Rangers board and if Rangers as a club commit funds to January and bring in some players, maybe 2 or 3 players, then I think it's continually sending a message that, we're backing Philippe Clement. We want Clement as our manager. We support him, etc., etc. However, I believe that if Rangers don't back Clement they're not backing Clement, are they? They're backing Coppin. If they don't give Coppin money to spend to bring in players for the manager, then I think that's sending a message that he's not our man. And come the summer, we're going to get rid of him. We don't want to bring in any more players that suit his system and suit his way of playing until we get a new manager. So we'll do that in the summer. So there could be an element of that, maybe. I don't know. There could really be genuinely an element of that. I think a lot will, when we sit here on the 1st of February, I think a lot will be kind of, you'll be able to tell a lot by what's happened over this January transfer window. Really, really will. What have we got? Do I rate Coppin? Good. That's a good question. I think it's too early to tell. I mean, some of the signings he's made have been decent. Obviously, the fact that we've got Hiefte looks quite good. Igerman looks good. Bayrami in flashes looks good. So there's players he's brought in that are decent. Don't get me wrong. So, do I rate him? I think it's too early to tell. I think, he needs a couple of windows really as well. Robert says here, he says, we need to sell the likes of Dowell, Matondo, Lawrence and Dessers. We also have an obligation to sign Cortez permanent in the summer, and Clement wants to sign Casanwejo in the summer. I must admit, I haven't really read a lot into the Casanwejo rumours. But I do know, obviously, we do know that Cortez will be bought for 4.5 mil. I've heard a rumour tonight that Matondo's up for sale. How true that is, I don't know. Genuinely don't know. There was a strong rumor that Patterson could return this month. Everton still owes transfer money for him. That could help get the deal done. Well, apparently it's now been said that Everton will not be selling him in the January transfer window. What else have we got here? Well, I don't think we can judge him yet. He's working with 2 hands tied behind his back and hasn't been there long enough. That's, I think, Niels Coppin we're talking about there. And I think he has, he hasn't had a fair crack at the whip. He hasn't had the chance to kind of, just kick off. He hasn't had a chance to really sign players and kind of really put his mark on this squad and on this club. So I think that he does need some support. So yeah, definitely. What's your thoughts on giving Clement money to spend? I'm not sure he will survive until the summer. Well, I don't think it's him that spends the money. I think it is Coppen that spends the money, mate. So I don't think it is, I don't think it is us. I don't think it is the manager that spends the money. I think it is, I think it's Niels Coppen who controls the finances, for example. What else have we got here tonight? Let's have a quick look, guys. Remember, if you've just found the channel, we're only 8 subs, away from the magic 7K. So if you are one of those 8 that haven't subscribed yet, then please, obviously, smash the sub. Help the channel to keep on growing. I'd pull out the Porteous deal. I mean, I don't know how far along that is. It's an obligation. I don't think we can. I think it's kind of written in the rules that we have to sign him. We really do. Yeah. I mean, like you, love Rangers. That said, I'm getting tired of the constant stewards' inquiries. Ian, I get you, mate. I mean, so am I. I mean, I'd love to just sit here and talk about, how well the team's playing and, who we might sign in January, rather than, talking about a bit of a kind of, I don't know, just constant upheaval, constant worry, constant stress about the club that we love. What else have we got? I'd take a million for Batondo and a lot less for Dowell. I think it's more about getting wages off the wage bill. We can only hope Dessers doesn't reject the next club that comes in for him. Very true. Good point. Look. Okay, last few points. I mean, yeah, I think, to be honest with you, I think the situation is that. Oh, hang on, my live chat's gone off. I think we have got to sell to buy. I think there is an element of that for certain. Absolutely. I mean, that's a good point. How can Celtic always get good money for any player they sell? I think because they develop their players, they play them in the right position, they use them well, they demonstrate well. I think that's probably why. Look, I think in terms of the club, in terms of where we are at this moment in time, I think, to be honest with you, looking at the situation, we need to strengthen the centre-back areas for definite. We need to buy the striker. I think those two are kind of non-negotiables. Do I think it'll happen? I'm dubious. I'm really dubious as to whether it'll happen or not. I don't know. Honestly, don't know. Let's get some of your points again. If we don't want... Oops, hang on. If we don't want Cortez, he doesn't want to come. Yeah, I mean, it's true, but I think, it's a done deal now. He ain't going back on that one. It's been constant for years. Who are we going to get in? 2 months down the road, how can we get rid of the player? Player buying has to be better. I think that's a good point, Janet. I mean, it really does. I'd support that, Layson. I support that. Janet, going back to your point there, I think you're right, 100% right in what you've got to say. It might be worth cashing in a couple of assets to have a proper rebuild, says Gordon. Look, I think if we're going to sell what you'd say as an asset, so a Hamza or a Jack Butland or someone like that, then you're looking at probably, I don't know, if you're looking at selling those people, then you are pretty much just writing this season off completely. You're writing off Europe, you're writing off the Scottish Cup, you're writing everything off. And I don't think that we get enough money in quick enough time for it to kind of make any difference. So I don't know. It's an interesting one, that one. I'd love him to stay, Layson. I would. Matt Gunner, he's already signed the contract, so we have it when it's an obligation to buy it. All that gets sorted before his loan starts. Yeah, I think, for the contract, in terms of the contract, we can't get rid of it. We can't back out of it. It's too late. It's too late. Really is. Look, we need to, as a club, strengthen badly in this window. If I had to tell you position-wise, I'd say centre-back is the most pressing need, followed by centre-forward, followed by winger, followed by backup number 6. So I'd say that, that we do really, need to bring in some defenders who are not afraid to defend, not afraid to stick their head in, not afraid to get messy, not afraid to, really kind of stick the oar in it. I really do believe that's the case. We do need those sort of players still. Now, whether, whoever's in charge at the moment thinks that we do need these players or not, I don't know. It all depends on, obviously, what happens with that. We've got a Tim in the chat. Let's get rid of him. Bye-bye, Tim. Try and get rid of him. He's gone off the page. Mods, can you help by getting rid of some of these? If you get a Tim, can you help by getting rid of them? Yeah, that's a great choice. Can we afford Cheney? I don't know whether we can or not. I don't know whether we can. Airwolf, I think this is a point that a lot of people have made. The fact that Celtic could just go and spend 30, 35, 40 million in this window. And you know what? Just be a laugh because they've got the money. Whereas we would struggle to spend 4 million in this window, which is embarrassing. Yeah, you're right. You're right. What else have we got? I'm happy for the midfielders forwards. It's across the back line. That's the problem. Yeah, I think it is. To some degree, Stephen. But I think we do need a striker to back up Hamza and Danilo. I do think we need. I do think we need. What else? A six, a winger. I do think there's positions we do need to strengthen. Yes, preferably that they're not the. It's not the. I don't know. It's not the be all end all anyway. Right. Let's have a quick look at some of your comments. Airwolf, I'd rather have spent over 50 million this season, and the piggy bank would be running dry for the court cases. Need to look 2 lone defenders, 1 striker, and a left winger, says Kenneth. Apparently Villarreal are weighing up a 10 million euro offer for Cheney in the summer. I think that's definitely the case. Thank you, Stuart. Thank you. That's what I've heard, that if Cheney is going to go, it's going to be this summer. It's not going to be now because of the fact, obviously, he's on loan here. I don't think there's any sort of break clause in the contract, so they'll have to wait until he returns to his parent club, to Wolfsburg, to be able to move on to Villarreal in the summer. I mean, you look at it and you look at the situation we're in, and what we're going into, obviously, Wednesday tomorrow. We're not far off of then getting down to game day, but it's not just about that. It's about getting a player in to actually train with the squad, at least to get an understanding of what the squad do. We haven't got that. So, look, well, I mean, it's the 7th of January now, and look, I understand, that we can't just demand money. That's not going to happen, is it? Not going to happen. But I might say he won't. Of course, he won't. What do you think will be happening with Barron? I don't know. What do you think? Barron, the money is set at just over 600. I think he'll still play his part this season, part of the rotation. What else do you mean? Airwolf, I don't know, mate. I'd love to know when he's going to get wheeled out and what he's going to say and when he's going to say it. I'd love to know that, but at the moment, I don't know, mate. Matt Gunner has been knocked back into the year code time of solicitors. Scott, that would definitely have helped on Sunday. I mean, look, another name obviously that's come out recently is Ryan Porteous. I mean, just to go back to the poll that I put out earlier. The poll I put out earlier, 70% of you still are saying yes to Katic, 30% are saying no. Stuart, I love your style, mate. Love your style. Love your style there. So, I don't know. I genuinely don't know what is going to happen in this window, and I don't know whether we're going to spend. I don't know whether we aren't going to spend. I don't know whether we're going to wait until the summer, until Clement's gone, if Clement goes. I think if the board come out and back Clement in this window, then I'll be honest, that sends a clear message that, that Clement's their man. If they don't come out and back him, I think it's a bit of a, well, we're kind of done with you now. The league's over with. We can't be asked to spend any money. Let's just wait till the summer until we get a new manager in. I don't know. Maybe set pieces are an issue, both ends of the park. Oh, yeah, set pieces are a massive issue. We can't defend them and we can't score from them. I mean, something that definitely needs to be addressed. Really does need to be addressed. 100% accurate. But let's talk about Ryan Porteous. That's what we were talking about. Sorry, guys, I'm really tired tonight. Ryan Porteous. Would you welcome Ryan Porteous back to Rangers? Not back to Scotland, and obviously then to come to Rangers. I mean, it's one that will divide fan opinion. It will divide fan opinion because you've got those people that remember the days at Hibs, his antics there, and those things. But then you will remember, the very talented attacking. 2 seconds. I'm going to launch a new poll. Then you remember, obviously, the bad side of him, the foul on Aribo or the other stuff. And then perhaps some people think of the good stuff. He's a big physical guy. He's strong. He's in your face. Would you take him? Would you take Porteous? I mean, that's an interesting question, I believe. We'll get a poll on that one as well. Get another poll up. So the poll of our finish is 71-29 in favour of bringing back Nikola Katic. Right, let's get a new poll. So my new poll is, would you want Rangers to sign Ryan Porteous? I can't spell his name. I apologise. Okay, so there's the poll. Poll's up now. Please vote in the poll. Please vote in the poll. What have we got? Airwolf says nope. He is a walking red card. Talking about Porteous. Scott says he got sent off. He did. He got sent off against Germany, I think it was, wasn't it? Is he the guy who peed on the War Memorial? Disaster on and off the pitch. He hasn't matured. Porteous. There's a lot of kind of anti-feeling towards Ryan Porteous by the fans. There's some people that think he would come in and do a job for us because he's a big, tall, physical guy. That's something that we desperately lack. So look, that's the story. Your comments here. Gamat says Rangers need one or two nasty bastards in our team. We're too nice. Yeah, I agree. I mean, Raskin is the only one who's kind of got that nasty streak in him, hasn't he? Porteous is one of those players you hate when you play when against you, but would love him playing for you. Says Stephen. We've got Chris is not a fan of Ryan Porteous. The poll at the moment, 39% yes, 61% no to Porteous. Like I said, I do think that there is an element of where he comes in and is a success because he's a big nasty so-and-so. He'd stick his head in, he'd get stuck in, he'd fight for the ball, he'd put his body on the line. But there's also kind of the other side of the argument, that he's got too much of a past history on him. That Watford probably want a bit too much money for him. So, look, I'll be honest with you. The whole Porteous thing is really interesting to me. That's why I've kind of asked you guys what your thoughts are. Look, I mean, personally speaking, Porteous to me is a big, nasty centre-half who gets the Scottish game and gets Scottish football. So there's no reason why I would not, perhaps look at Porteous and think that, he could be an option, especially obviously, with Suter taking time to come back and King being the only kind of centre-back with proper going to be suspended for a game. So, look, I'll be honest with you, in terms of Ryan Porteous, he possibly could come in and do a job. Now, I hear the argument that's made, that he's more pro-Celtic, that he hates us, blah, blah, blah. But I'll tell you something, I couldn't give a monkey's what team you support. As long, as long as you, if you have Rangers as a Scottish team, as long as you get behind Rangers as well, I couldn't give a monkey's who you support. Really, really couldn't. Some comments in the live chat, guys. Porteous hates Rangers, says Alex Wallace. I mean, look, I'd love to be able to get away from this. Who do they support before we sign them? Just sign the best players. Sign the best players for the squad. Don't mess around. Don't do the whole, I haven't got any money. Just sign the best players. That's what we've got to do. Dan Armstrong has signed a pre-contract with Hearts. That's another one out the window. But I don't think we should be afraid to have a look at Scottish players. Certainly don't. Current poll is really close, 54-46. Look, I think, in terms of the don't use, Don't use Porteous. Don't get Porteous. I get that. I understand that. But who else is there? Who else is there? Yeah, I don't know why he wants to leave, but apparently he wants to leave, mate. Apparently he wants out of the football club. So look, it's interesting. It's interesting, isn't it? He's an option, but maybe a wee bit too incendiary, says Mays. Yeah, he may well be, guys. He's maybe better number 3 player at times. I don't know with Porteous. Like I said, it's very much down to debate. Comment poll. Excuse me, sorry. Would you want Porteous Rangers to sign Porteous? 46% say yes, 54% no. So while we had a unanimous vote for Katic, got a very small vote for Porteous. For Porteous coming. Alan Benny says, we don't have the money to sack Clement. He's here regardless. We can't afford to sack him because we need to honour his contract on top of Beale and GVB's not sanctions, what they call it, reparations or whatever. Porteous, yes, if I could trust him to play with his heart for Rangers. Yeah, I mean, you're making me tired. Sorry, Jan, I am absolutely exhausted tonight. So look, January window at the moment, we are in a position where nothing is happening. I think a lot will depend on what Patrick Stewart says in this statement, whenever it comes, if it comes, or if it's just Clement's way of pushing people off and trying to, I don't know, get that out there. Yeah, this is a great point. Brilliant point from Matt. Says, many of Celtic's best Scottish players were Rangers fans, but never stopped them from being some of the best in the land. I agree. I think it's really ridiculous that if the primary thing we're worrying about when it comes to a player is who do they support. At the end of the day, as long as they come to Rangers and they play well and they score goals if they're centre forward or they do their job well, I don't know. I couldn't give monkeys who they play, who they used to support, as long as they support and they do well. I think that's the key thing for me. Scott says that will be a new level to sign that tool. Obviously talking about Ryan Porteous. I think talking about Porteous. There we go. I don't know, guys. I genuinely don't know. Spot on, Scott. Scott makes a great point here. The board are the main people to blame and the big contracts for shit players. Yeah, I agree. They're the ones that signed off on them. They're the ones that signed off on them. Not who he supports, but the amount of times he could get sent off. Yeah, I mean, that's fair enough. If you're objecting to the player on playing grounds, so that he gets sent off too much, or he's not good enough in the air, or he's not good enough on the ground, or he hasn't got any speed, then yeah, I get that. I genuinely do, but I don't know. I think you've got to kind of get away from this not wanting a player just because he allegedly supports one club over the other. Right, okay, guys, that is it for tonight, as I need to go to bed. I am shattered. I've been at work since silly o'clock this morning. Thank you for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation. We're back tomorrow with a couple of live shows for you tomorrow, so please come and join us for that. Thank you very much for watching. We're back hopefully on track tomorrow. Sorry about the tired podcast tonight, but I did promise I was going to do one tonight, and I was very, very tired. I do apologize. Thank you for watching. We're back tomorrow. Thanks. We will speak to you tomorrow. Please, on the way out, smash the sub, smash the like, comment, and share. Help us to get to that magical 7,000 mark. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. We are the people.